Welcome to this PCOC Minute, your source for news and information for the pest control industry in California. Today, we are going to be interviewing Chris Reardon, the Executive Vice President for the Pest Control Operators of California, to hear what the Pest Control Operators of California, PCOC, is doing to support the pest control operators here in California and really the industry in general here in California. So, let us get over to that interview with Chris. Chris, welcome. Why don't you introduce yourself just in case people out there don't know who you are?
Yeah, well, Foster, let me first thank you, and I know you've sort of been assisting us with our voice at PCOC, so I wanted to thank you and your partner once again for helping us get our message out. Yeah, I'm Chris Reardon. I've been the Executive Vice President for PCOC for nearly 4 years now, and so it's been a interesting ride over the last nearly 4 years, and here we are again as we're sort of ending our fiscal year, Foster. You know, we go from July 1st to the end of June, and who would have expected that we would have a pandemic that started in China impacting us the way it has, and so it's remarkable in a lot of ways, and it's made us. Who would have thought that something probably 7,000 miles away would impact all of us here? But here we are. So it's interesting, fascinating. It's challenging, all those things. And what we do know is that we're going to have to do everything we can to make sure we get through this.
Why is pest control considered an essential service?
Well, I was thinking about this, and if you come to district meetings, and I see you periodically, Foster, at district meetings, and about a year and a half ago, we got engaged in a discussion about our strategic plan, as you might recall. Where do we go from here? What's it look like in the next 5 years? Are we communicating correctly with our membership? Is our planning geared toward the future, not toward the past? And so I guess the easiest way to answer that is when you look at our new mission statement, through environmental stewardship, we protect people, property, and our food supply. I think that's a very important statement and explains why, frankly, we're an essential service in this state. Just imagine, if you would, that everything that we deal with, from rodent control to significant pests, dangerous pests, bed bugs, termites, etc. Imagine if somehow we just shut down. Imagine if that just went away with the remaining challenges that we have. So it's really more important than ever in these challenging times that the last thing we need to worry about is our pest control, because folks, they're not going away, and we all know that. So that's why it's an essential service. And we early on, we work very closely, or we're familiar with the essential service discussion. So as you might recall, in your area, the Bay Area, the 6 counties came out with a sort of a statement about essential services. They're the first ones to sort of coordinate, and talked to a friend of mine in the sanitation industry and said, there's no way we could do it without you folks in there as well. So we're very proud to be in there. It's something I've said all along to folks, is that we're on the front lines of pest control. We're the first person, you think about it, talking about protecting people, property, and their food supply, the first person that does that, if you really think about it, in everything we do. So we think not only does it make sense, but it really protects our communities at large. So that's why we think we're an essential service. Yeah,
and I would totally agree with that, because if pest control shut down and we weren't able to manage the pest, I mean, again, like you said, they're protecting our food supply and the environment. I mean, things would just go more haywire than what they are, and we'd have a lot more issues than what we have now. So, and a lot of people, are finding it, homeowners, especially business owners, are kind of cutting back on the services they're doing. We can understand it with the businesses and those small restaurants and everything. We feel real sorry for them, but really they should be keeping the service up, because if they're shut down and nobody's in those buildings and nobody's doing anything with that, if they've got rodent issues or cockroaches or whatever, it's going to take over that place, and it's just going to make it more of a nightmare for them when they try to reopen and establish business back. So,
well, and here's the other thing, Foster, is we know they're going to open. Yeah. It's a matter of time. And so we think it's really important. That's why I don't think anyone wants to go back to their business, their homes, anything that requires to find out that now here we go again with pest control. Imagine our food industry.
Oh, yeah.
That we depend on. Talking about food processing and think about our groceries, the people that transport our groceries, trucking, all the thing that requires is critical to our success during this crisis. Pest control. There's no way you do it without pest control.
Exactly.
So that's why we're here.
Yeah, exactly. So what is PCOC doing really to support the pest control operators, really during this uncharted territory we're into right now?
Yeah, it's as you might imagine, when we got the first shelter in place discussion from the governor, Governor Newsom, we started almost immediately working through the whole issue of essential services and ensuring we had a lot of questions, as you might imagine, about what's an essential service. Is it all of our branches in California? What does it mean to us? So we were very involved in that discussion regarding pest control related. In fact, it does require all our branches in California to be, and they are an essential service. But more importantly, we're working with the Structural Pest Control Board of California. As you might imagine, we have test sites that are shut down. We're working on the whole 90-day, process of new hires. The renewal times, we hope that they can be pushed back as well, at least delayed some. And just imagine if you can't test in California, what that requires for our industry. And if what we hear, Foster, is probably not only this month, April, but we look into May as well, will be impacted. Probably 8 weeks with some certainty in California. So we're doing everything we can to communicate on a regular basis with our members. We're doing alerts, as you're probably aware. We're doing Fridays, what I call COVID-19 updates about everything going on in California, and doing everything we can. By the way, we're working with our friends at the National Pest Management Association, because they've been very helpful too in terms of what's going on at the national level. So for us, it's all hands on deck.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a very critical time for you guys, and definitely appreciate all the support you're giving to everyone, because I think without you guys really being on the front lines and helping things out, I think we'd probably be in a little bit of a world of hurt here. So it's definitely helpful. So, what recommendations do you have for the pest control operators here in California?
Well, our recommendations are, look, I think this changes not only daily, but hourly. And so it's remarkable in a lot of ways. Every morning I wake up and something different happens, and we hear sort of Governor Newsom's new proclamation on whatever that might be. So I would say this. We have our own separate website for PCOC.org. We have our own COVID-19 information. It changes regularly about what's going on. We think there's a lot of information available too that can help folks both technically and from a business perspective too. The thing that we're going to be putting out tomorrow is, there's Congress just passed emergency legislation related to help small businesses. So we're going to be putting some background on small businesses information, small business loans. I know a lot of our folks have already begun inquiring about those issues. So we're going to be putting that up there as well. So we're also going to give the latest as it relates to, we're working on another issue too, you might have heard, regarding the use of sanitizers in California to offset the challenges with COVID-19. Right now, the way the law, you have to have a certain license, QAL license, and most of our members, particularly Branch 2, can't use that under the current license requirements. So we're working with the Department of Pesticide Regulations to ensure that we can at least provide a temporary waiver and to allow, think about during these times, all hands on deck to allow our industry to assist the broader community with use of sanitizers. So that's being worked on right now through the department. Of course, it has to go through agency and ultimately be approved by the governor's office. So that's a really important issue. And we think, and we've tried to make the case that, when you're talking about the importance of structure or the importance of pest control in California, we can really be helpful, particularly with eliminating the spread of the COVID-19.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we're definitely seeing it online, at least I am, a lot of a lot of pest control companies are jumping into doing the sanitizing services, and I think it's good. I personally think it's good that California's got a little bit more regulations on that as far as who really could be doing that type of service, and hopefully we can get a waiver so we can jump in here and help out, because there's, like you said, it's all hands on deck with this, and we really need to, if we can, and we have the manpower and the resources to do it here in the pest control industry. We really should be helping out to do that, because I think it's an important thing.
We agree with you. We don't think anyone should be doing this, but we sure have some ability to be helpful, and we think we've talked to the department numerous times regarding our ability to assist, and maybe look at like I said, a waiver, and think of ways that we can be licensed in the future, to grab our branch twos in the future. So there's a lot of discussions going on. We hope, as you might imagine, the governor's office is probably inundated with a whole series, a whole series of issues related to, particularly, as you might imagine, our medical care workers and police officers, firefighters, emergencies, all those folks, which are our first priority. But we also think as you get down sort of the run, we can be helpful too in preventing the spread of this virus.
Is there anything else that PCOC is doing really to help communicate to all members during this time?
Yeah, one of the things that we've really tried to do is not only we've been on phone calls with people, but through our website, through our alerts, what I call the latest and greatest. And as I said, it changes so rapidly, but we really try to communicate the best we can. By the way, we've done it on Facebook, we've done it on LinkedIn, we've had our members, assist us as well. So we're trying to use every communication tool we possibly can to communicate our message, and particularly concerns, the latest regarding if there's a new regulatory system to deal with, for example, the sanitizer process, all those sorts of things. We're doing, one nice thing, and you're the perfect example, Foster, Pest Posse. There's no way a couple of years ago that we'd have the ability to do this. Now, through Pest Posse and through all the other services that are provided out there, and as you know, one of our challenges is historically, there's a lot of noise. As you know, you got all sorts of out there with the media. But so in allowing us through folks like yourself, members through LinkedIn and through Facebook, everything, we've been pretty effective in getting the word out. So we're going to use that process to get out there as much as we can on key issues for our industry.
So do you have any updates on any of the upcoming events that the PCOC is going to be putting on?
Yeah, we're going to be, as you know, we have at least postponed legislative days that were going to be coming up April 13th through 15th. We've also postponed our leadership forum at the end of the month in Costa Mesa. And I've had a lot of inquiries regarding Expo in June. And I think the way I would best describe it is, I think it's too soon to tell. I would say just when you start looking at the calendar, if we're shut down in April, the governor said today at lunch that the peak is supposed to happen sometime in early to mid-May, at least in California. And those are just projection models. Yeah. So if it doesn't occur, if it occurs sooner, which I understand we've done a good job in terms of tamping down the virus compared to other places in the country, but we know it's going to be here. It's going to be greater levels. The question is when. And so when you start looking at that calendar, the challenge for us is going to be what does the third week in June look like, to be honest with you. And our major concern is protecting the health of our members. So we sure aren't going to be, depending on how this all plays out, we're sure not going to be doing an event if in fact it isn't safe for our membership. So that's an issue the third week of June. We're just not certain yet right now. And then as you look down the road, we get into our board meeting, into our new fiscal year, board meeting in Paso Robles in September, but that's a ways away yet. But we're really watching this, as you might imagine, very carefully. The hotel was very kind to us, the Hyatt, in terms of allowing us to get on our contract, but folks had no choice. Yeah. We're communicating now, frankly, with the hotel in Monterey too, just to make sure if we're looking at other dates, other options, we can do that too. So the Expo is important to us. As you know, it's a foundational issue for this organization, and we're going to do everything we can to do it. If we don't do it in June, some other time. So, but that's sort of what's going on in our event schedule. It's frustrating, as you might imagine, because these two events are Legislative Day, which I'd argue is probably the most important thing we do, making sure our voice is heard in Sacramento, than our expo. So it's frustrating for us. You know, we get big turnouts for both, and not doing them isn't helpful. But look, we'll get through it. You know, there'll be another Ledge Day, and there'll be another expo too.
Is there any other information that you want to put out there for the members, for anybody out there that's listening to this, watching this?
Yeah, I just wanted to, a couple things. I mentioned early on here that we're going to be sending some information out tomorrow regarding the whole ability for PCOs in California to use a small business loan. It's called CARES, the Paycheck Protection Act, to help, you know, make sure that we can keep our employees. I know a lot of our members are already talking to their accounting firms, their accountants, et cetera, but that's something I really want folks to pay attention to. It's going to move quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if Congress is going to have to go back at this again because it'll run out quickly. But I think that's something I want our membership to pay attention to. And I know this will be heard in a few days. So by the time you'll hear me on this, there'll be still time to do this. Then secondly, I want to make sure that folks understand we've tried to communicate a lot of information, and we try to, if there's questions or there's concerns, please don't hesitate to not only contact us, but call us, okay? And oftentimes things move so quickly that if you email us, we might, you know, it could be, you know, early afternoon or late afternoon. It could change by the next morning, to be honest with you. So we just want folks to know that I hope you'll use this as a tool, information, or you have any questions regarding this crisis. We're there to help you. This is your organization, so call us.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. Well, great, Chris. Well, I definitely do appreciate your time with this and getting this information out. And again, everyone, you know, make sure you reach out to PCOC. They're still there. They're still answering the phones. They're there to help out. So we're all in this together, and we will get through this soon. So again, thank you so much, Chris, for your time today. I really do appreciate it.
Foster, thank you very much. We appreciate your help very much. Thank you.
I want to thank the Pest Control Operators of California for partnering with the Pest Posse to bring you this PCOC Minute. We hope all of you stay safe and healthy, and we will see everyone at the next PCOC Minute.